I absolutely love the autofocus. It is crazy. So why am I building a coffee brand that has nothing to do with coffee? Most coffee brands are trying to be the most interesting in the room. Mine is trying to be a lot more intentional. And that's a little bit of a different game. So I want to show you how I'm playing it. So I kind of want to start off with like the baseline. So I called it IdiCafe. Now, why is it IdiCafe? The entire baseline of the word was, or the name was the Idea Cafe. The Idea Cafe kind of meaning, a place where ideas really come to brew. You're creating something and you're letting it brew until it's something. That was the entire idea. So why did I short it to idea? And I kind of shortened it up and put that in front of the actual cafe. So it's ID Cafe. The reason why I was Portuguese was the first coffee that I actually created, or like the first coffee blend that I created, the first coffee that I got for that blend. My cat's going crazy there. The first coffee that I got for that blend was Portuguese. So that was kind of the intention for that. So the name really, kind of stops you and makes you think, or at least that's what it made me do. Is like, why is it ID? What does ID mean? Some people call it itty, and they're just like, okay, cool, it's a cool word or whatever. But I don't know. It kind of made me stop and think, and that's kind of the entire purpose. So the Idea Cafe isn't really just a cafe. It's a place that I want people to come and think. And it's not really a place where I'd say it's everything is kind of around coffee. Like if you go to a random coffee shop, I guess like the main focus is the coffee. But I guess this is not in the same way. It's kind of a lifestyle built around this one idea. Never stop thinking, be curious, build things, and bring things into this world. The coffee is just a vehicle. It's a vehicle to bring this idea into real life. What I actually think I'm selling is the relationship with your own mind, if that kind of makes sense. The state you get into when the cup is just right. The first sip, it hits you, the place is right, the area is right, and you're just like, I need to work. Ideation space where ideas brew. That's the tagline. That's the soul of it. Now, here's what I want to really get into that I feel like a lot of people are not really talking about in the cafe spaces. Most of them are performing. Now, performance, we can kind of get into that later. I literally have wrote an entire film about it, but I feel like it's completely performance. Now, this isn't hating on coffee or cafes or whatever around the entire thing. It's just like what I see in the landscape right now. They pick an aesthetic, third wave minimalism or maximalist streetwear energy, or like a farm to cup origin story. And they kind of wear that as a costume. And it works for a while, it works great until like you realize you know what you're getting. And what I feel like I'm building is a little bit different because the reference point isn't really other coffee brands. Like, I don't think I'm getting necessarily the exact, I don't know, essence from different coffee brands. It's from different areas of life. Now think about like a really well dressed engineer, kind of leaving in his Porsche, going to work. There's specific intention there, or even let's kind of dial it down to like a film perspective. Now think of James Bond ordering a drink, not because it's gonna be the flashiest option, but because he knows exactly what he wants and why. There's precision there, kind of quiet confidence that doesn't really need to explain itself. And that's kind of the energy. Film, fashion, architecture, technology, all this space, parts that shouldn't exist together. But in the Idea Cafe, they're all in harmony. Pristine isn't a visual style, it's kind of the standard. It's what happens when every single decision, the roast, the cup, the space, the packaging, the language, is made with the same level of intention. I feel like most coffee brands go and chase a vibe. I want to build a system. And for most systems, if they're well designed, they compound. Now, why don't I just open up a cafe? Because I've literally looked at the math. I've done the calculations. Literally, I've taken numbers from different areas, aggregated them, and found the margins to be extremely brutal. You're fighting rent, staff, food waste, seasonality, and most of the brand equity gets trapped into these four walls that you're paying $8,000 a month for. I don't feel like that's a business. I feel like that's a very expensive way to make coffee. Now, this residency model that I want to talk about, it flips that. Instead of owning a location or renting a location, I embed IdiCafe into a place or a venue that already has the right energy. Wellness studios, creative agencies, fitness studios, places where the person who's walking through the doors already has a relationship with intentionality, with investing in themselves. And that person is my customer. They're already there. So I'm not building from 0 foot traffic. I'm building from a place where people actually already want to be there. And I'm bringing the brand, the product, the experience, the identity into their space. So what I'm trying to do is brand first, location second, and capital is preserved until the brand proves what it is. It's a staged decision. It's reversible at every step. And that's what matters to me more than moving fast. So I've started outreach. And I'll be very honest with you about how it's been going. So I've sent about 300 emails to venue partners, 300, with a grand total of 4 responses. 2 of them being a complete no, complete decline, and one of them taking actually really, really good interest in it, which was absolutely incredible to me. And the other one I'm still in conversation with. Now, by the calculation, that's less than a 0.5% hit rate on a cold outreach initial call. And that's completely fine because the one yes, that's proof of concept. That's the crack in the wall that tells me that this might actually work. And what I've learned from the people who've said no so far is actually probably more important than when they would have said yes. The friction isn't the concept. It's the stage the brand is at. People want to see more before they commit, which means the next phase isn't just going to be outreach. It's going to be building the surface area to get an easier yes. And that's what the video is part of. It's building that content, that brand kind of around what I'm trying to create. And not to go actually viral, but to start the conversations 2 steps ahead of where the last one did. And I want to be a little bit more honest too. I'm 25. I have a full-time job. I work in an actual company. I'm doing this in parallel, intentionally, because I believe in staged bets over leaps of faith. IdiCafe or the Idea Cafe, it's not a side hustle. It's not really a passion project either. It's the first node in building something larger. A brand architecture I've been thinking about for years. This architecture that spans across coffee, space, experience, and eventually products that have nothing to do with coffee at all, but carry the same DNA. The residency is the first proof point. If I can execute on that with that level of precision that I'm trying to hold it up to, the right venue, the right product, the right feeling the person feels when they actually hold up the cup, then the brand has earned its right to grow. Now, I'm not trying to be the most popular brand, the most popular coffee brand, but I'm definitely trying to make it where somebody really remembers when they actually drink the coffee. The one that made them feel that they're exactly where they need to be. So going back to the James Bond example, James Bond doesn't explain himself. He just shows up and the room adjusts. And that's what I'm building towards. That's kind of the entire concept. I really, really wanted to kind of lay it out and see if I can portray it properly so that I can see myself how I'm growing throughout these videos. All right, this is just the beginning. Cool.